It is 6:01. We will call the September meeting of the Taipei Economic Development Board meeting to order. We do have a quorum present. Then we know we can find it. So we will go to item C, the regular agenda. Review, discuss questions related to the budget report and financial statement for August of 2023.
Okay, well, financially, you're in pretty good shape. We've collected a little over what was projected, about $10,000 currently above, and there'll be we still got September numbers to go in there. I did notice on here today that the capital item where and that was a land purchase for what is a museum property. We did not clean that up at a mid-year amendment, so that'll get cleared up when we do the year-end stuff and we make that negative number go away. The other thing is interesting to see, if you look at on the second page, investment earnings, as we've started moving some of your fund balance around and some investment stuff, we've generated some pretty good revenue since that little program started. So your fund balance, which is just a little under $2 million, 1.917843. Much of that is invested in some Techstar investments, and so the returns are going pretty well, and the interest paying pretty well. Those are funds that money is immediately accessible, so it's kind of like a checking account on steroids, I guess. And those are doing pretty well. The miscellaneous revenue, of course, is the facade grant stuff. We've given away one of those, but other than that, park property, you're within your numbers and should have some unused income at the end of the year that can go back to fund balance. Breakdown for the month is on page 6, just kind of breaks down the line out of what money was spent where and where it went. Training and travel and 380 agreements and so forth. This gives you a breakdown of where it is.
What was the extra amount on you may have said a minute ago for on the Joshua Station development this month?
Where you see on page 6. That's going to be the I believe that's the most of that is utilities, water, electricity, lights for the streets down in there. That's where some of that is. And then part of that also is the container part, the initial stuff for engineering and some of the things that have been done for that.
That's why it's over.
Yeah. $16,000 of it is utilities. 36 of it is the container park.
16,000.
Yes.
Is that what you normally do?
Well, that includes, no, it's not. It's electricity, water, the mowing contract, all of that stuff is combined in it for the maintenance of it. So it's all of that stuff combined and any repairs that would have happened.
Well, that's what I was wondering, because it was significant. I know last year we had to replace, there was some vandalism or something, and we had to replace some of that.
There was some sign repairs.
Significantly.
We had a car plow over the control.
Budget is 1,600. Johnson Station development is 19,000 and the budget is 1,200. On page 4. for fencing, yeah.
Don't see it on page 4. Where are you?
That's not my page 4.
Yeah.
What's this?
That's what was spent for the month. That's the monthly expenditure.
Right, and that's the budget. Why is that number so much bigger than that number?
Because this is numbers broken, divided by 12. It's that number divided by 12.
Right, and that's our monthly actual and the monthly budget, so we're.
Well, we don't always spend just that amount. There might be something happens.
Right, that's why, that's what I was asking.
Yeah,
Do
yeah,
you
yeah.
have something significant this month, or? Because it looks.
I know there's been a lot of movement on the container stuff, but I don't know that all of it is that, but I do know there's a lot. There's been a lot done.
Cause it looks like our total year to date actual is $36,000 and this previous month was 19,000. So it's more than 50% of the whole year was this month.
Right, but this also doesn't reflect the additional money that was given. That won't be in there until the mid-year adjustment. So that's why.
We allocated.
Right, some is being spent, it's just not there.
Okay. That's what
It's. And this is a good lesson in why we should just do budget amendments throughout the year, because after so many months, this all starts to run together. And it's not a huge deal to amend this budget. The general fund budget is a problem.
Right.
So it may be that we just, I'll get with Marcy, we'll have a conversation about it. It may be that we can just start making on these small ones, making these amendments as they're done.
Yeah, anything that's a significant percentage variance is just, I mean, it happens, we know it happens, it's just.
Yeah, and I think there's some discussion about changing the format of the way the stuff is reported. I've asked them to wait on that for just a bit until we get the budget done. And then what you may see for the first couple of months is kind of both sets of numbers until you get acclimated to the way the new one's going to look. But we're looking at different software. The software that we're using for all this stuff has become horribly problematic, and they're not really keeping up with where we're going. So as much as I hate to make a change again, because it really makes the life from the accounting people around here very unpleasant for a couple of months, and now there's more of them. So
Any other questions on that?
Under the administrative, we have $500.
you have $500 for what?
Uniform.
Those are just shirts and stuff for Molly, embroidered stuff that's got the city's name on it.
Giveaway stuff.
And no, the stuff for uniforms is for, where are you seeing that?
On the topic, on the budget.
The coming up budget?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that, let's me say, it's not in this one. That's just what she's requested for uniforms, a coat, this stuff that the girls around here wear. It's got the city's logo on.
Not bad getting.
Figure for long she'll be asking me for a gun or something.
Any questions? Right. Item 2, discuss consider possible action on the meeting minutes of August 14th.
I need to make a correction on this. After we talked about David Morgan, I looked up and he was here and I have him absent. Yep. Yeah, well, I double checked. Yeah, I looked up and double checked and so, yes,
Where do you go? Alice?
I know.
Anything else?
We have a motion. If the minutes would be noted edits.
Approve the minutes with the.
And a second to approve the minutes with the noted edit. All in favor? Carried. Item 3, discuss consider possible action for the approval of the 23-24 budget.
All right, so I think you got the latest and greatest passed out to you. Alice and I were just notified by finance at about 5 o'clock that updated one of the final version of it. They had never sent, so if you see a few red numbers on here, you've got the right one. So revenues are, I'll just kind of run through this and y'all stop me and ask any questions as we go through. Proposed revenues this year, we expect to be $1.48 million for the proposed budget. That's a little bit less than what we proposed last year. Joshua Station development expenditures, $104,315. That includes development money, station utilities, and the newly named Station 174. And so the thought behind that was to take the name park out of it because we didn't want something to be confused with our park ordinance that has an alcohol prohibition, and this thing may have an alcohol component to it. And so we wanted to take the park word out of it. And I'm not sure where she came up with that, but a couple hours after I told her we needed to change it, she came back and it sounded pretty good. So that is something that this board can recommend keeping or changing as you see fit. But for now, that's going to be its holding place.
Makes sense, but area you can drop the station.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was pretty good. So expanded business, the 380 agreement that we've got with Starbucks. SOD grant funding rolled over. That's $95,000 remaining. We've only issued one check for $5,000. We do have, I think, another applicant or two, but they're not quite completed with the project, so they haven't submitted final stuff. So those are pending. The Joshua Chamber of Commerce funding is still in place. It is not currently being paid, but it is, that amount still is budgeted. The downtown infrastructure money also is in a holding pattern. They are working, Molly and Amber are working with Dana at JSUD and kind of getting details of not a payback, but an incentive for that money where we can, as we discussed, using it to incentivize businesses coming down here, maybe getting some of the initial prepaids waived and impact fees waived to help trigger some business growth. And that water line, they're actually getting pretty close. They, I think, can see 174 from where they're. I believe they're just right at this church down here, maybe just getting ready to go past it. So they're actually doing pretty well. And if you haven't noticed, you know, they're kind of cleaning up their mess as they go. We still, the only complaint we've gotten here has been the first one over a cracked up driveway that was cracked up before they started. That's the only complaint that we've gotten down here, which really surprises me.
Was the one when they said was up the sewer line?
That was the sewer line. And then so advertising and promotion, that amount stayed the same at 40,000. Administrating, training and travel stayed the same. Dues subscriptions, I'm sorry, went up just a bit. The uniform is a new line item she had requested that I think is appropriate. There's miscellaneous funds, and then the administrative part of her stuff in City Hall comes to 38,500. Debt service, of course, is what it is. Revenue, bonds, and interest, and then the 2022 note principal. That's for the Joshua Station for the property that was purchased for the museum. Capital outlay, we did not budget anything for capital outlay this year. We don't really have anything on the books, so that's why that 30,000 is gone. Community events, we're talking about several things of concerts in the parks and street dances and stuff that we're talking about doing downtown. There's some money set in there. TAP B is also, I believe, participating in some of those, or it'll be proposed. And then it transfers to the general fund, which is her salary and mostly that, and then a few other things that go with that. So the total proposed budget was $1,048,920, and that's what we're proposing.
We do need to accept this tonight.
Yes.
To go to council.
Well, you don't have to, but if you don't, we got to have another meeting.
We need to accept it for Thursday.
That's what I'm saying. And if there's some changes that are some things that is not in here that you wanted, you can also approve it with amendment too. So, if there's something that you don't think is enough, or you think it's too much, or you want to see change, we can do that. You just have to include that in your motion.
I guess my only question would be, type A and community events, how does that fit versus type B part?
Downtown, type A, the way our structure is, type B can fund economic development, park projects. Type A is typically infrastructure and only commercial type events. So things that happen down here in this commercial district, y'all could participate in.
Right.
Things that, and even in Joshua Station is how it's tied in. Most of that stuff goes with type B. And well, I'll hold off telling you that news. Look at them now. Look at them.
My question, I guess, is just, as far as the budget, what we want to add or take away. You guys are the eyes and ears that see people come and go every day. And so, because nobody shows up and talks to them, we don't get the feedback. Is there areas that we're missing? Is there needs that we're not meeting? Where are we at?
I think, and this is probably a better question for Molly, because she knows more about where she is. I know Molly has multiple irons in the fire. We're working, we're spending a lot of time with, I'm tired of saying his name, Whataburger, but they have finally made up their mind what they're going to do. They're not going to build a strip center. They're going to do a standalone facility, and then they're working on something on the lot next to it. We've not I think Molly knows what it is, but they've asked her to not convey that just yet. They're not asking for anything from us, so there's no need to push it. I know their Taco Bell has contracted a piece of property that's also going to get rid of a big eyesore. So we know, we're confident that's coming. They've already started turning in construction documents and starting moving down the line for that. There's a couple of other irons in the fire. We've been meeting with the American Steel Carports, who has some significant things coming up that is gonna be a huge retail sales impact. So she's got a lot of things going on, and she's working very closely with Aaron. She's hitting the residential stuff as well as commercial. She's really working both sides of it. And are we missing stuff? We could be, but I don't know that we've figured it out yet either. I know she's all over the place, and I'd be surprised if there's an area that she's not hitting, because she really is going in multiple directions, but she seems to keep it all straight. So I think probably getting, an update from her monthly, and then she's got a plane due back in, but I don't think she's going to make it in here. But I can mention to her to prepare a report for you guys next month, just so you'll have it. And I'm hoping that the Chamber of Commerce will get squared away on a new director, so that we used to bring them in and do quarterly reports to y'all to kind of let you know what was going on in the business community and how that was working out. She's working with them. Amber is on that board, so we've got some representation in there. They're back up and running, but they still don't have an executive director. But I asked that the message be conveyed. We're ready for them to put on some speed with that, and so I think they are. They've got a job description now. Amber's been helping them with all that, so I think you'll be hearing from them very soon. But really, things are looking up pretty good. I think some of the stuff we've been talking about is we're fixing to start seeing go up. I hope to buy you all one chip Whataburger someday. That seems to be what everybody wants. That's what we hear more than anything is Whataburger.
That's pretty awesome. So I know we talked about the counterpart last time, and there's one, I guess, update that next month. But for budget wise, that counterpart, was that including that? I know you mentioned the stage, the portable stage.
You're going to make me tell you the secret, aren't you?
But if you don't want to tell me, you don't have to.
No, I'm going to tell you because I know the mayor likes to hear it. We've done some checking. We did some research and got the documentation that the hotel motel money that we have been struggling to spend, there's $250,000 in that fund, but it's highly restricted. One of the things that qualifies is a outdoor stage venue. So we have started working with the people, and we've got it all laid out and designed. They're very expensive, but it comes. It's kind of. It's going to be. It's not going to take your money. It's not even going to take any Type B's money. Because it comes, the only money that they will be spending is to put some power in the ground, because it needs a 220 outlet to operate, but it comes with the lights, with sound. It's completely, the microphones, it's completely self-contained. It's a 15 by 34, 36. It's a dual axle trailer, but it doesn't require a huge truck to pull it. lighter weight because a lot of the big, heavy plastic enclosed ones, we didn't get. We went with one that it'll be covered in the top, but the sides are banners. There's a back section that's gated with banners. That's the rails, the stairs, the hydraulics to set it up. That's the whole 9 yards. We should just be able to plug it into a 220 setup and away we go. So we were thinking we'll put a place in the park for it, obviously Joshua Station, and maybe even at the park and ride. I can see us doing some things out there, and maybe even downtown. We pull this thing up, set it up, do street dances, do, whatever community events where you might need a stage or a little tap show thing, just whatever. So the only problem is they're 12 to 18 months out when you order it. So the council will have it'll be on their agenda Thursday night for approval to make the purchase, and we'll do that. Then I'll sign the PO Friday and we'll get in line. And I've told them we would consider any demonstrator models that are available. And she doesn't know if there are any, but they're going to be in Dallas next month for the Parks and Recreation show. We're thinking about going over there and they've got one similar, not the exact same one, but it's in the same neighborhood. So we're thinking about going over there. And if they provide me with some tickets, I don't really want to spend $400 to go over there for one day, but that's the cost of the one day.
Wow.
But the park people are all going to be set up. It'll be a pretty big turnout. It'd probably be worth the money getting some of the contacts, but it's a little pricey.
What's the maintenance budget on that look like? Where is that going to come from?
The maintenance budget on that will probably come from Parks and Rec at some point, but the 2-year maintenance agreement we're including with it, and it'll be kept enclosed. We have a place where it can be kept inside. It won't be out to the elements. Mm-hmm.
Question? All right, do we have a motion to accept the budget as presented?
Approve the 2023-24 budget as approved.
Second.
Motion in the second to accept the 23-24 budget as presented. All those in favor? Item B, any future agenda items to be added to the next agenda?
You want me to ask her just to plan on doing that monthly, to present a monthly report to you guys? I mean, she's here anyway. Okay, we'll do that.
I mean, we don't even have to read it out loud if she wants to include any confidential information.
Yeah, she likes them executive session stuff. She's very serious about keeping that stuff quiet where she can. I'm surprised economic development is incredibly competitive.
Right. Is there a place on, is there a place on the city website for people to put those aside?
Yes, it's on there, isn't it?
I put it on there this past week.
What qualifications they must need?
It has the whole policy. Yeah, it should have the whole policy in the application.
6:31, we will adjourn. Excuse me, eyes and thoughts.
You're supposed to stay informed.
I want to get it back.
And you're gonna have to say happy birthday to Kim here.